Tonight, only on 2, families of cold case victims now have a new glimmer of hope thanks to a recent federal grant. The Tulsa Police Department is using a roughly $500,000 grant to help aid in the testing of DNA. Tonight, 2 News anchor Sharon Phillips breaks down what that means.
You may recognize former Tulsa Police homicide detective Ronnie Leatherman. He spent 22 years serving on the force, but recently retired a few years ago to work in the Tulsa Police Department's crime lab as an analyst. But thanks to a new federal grant, Leatherman is returning to his old stomping ground.
The homicide guys got a grant through the federal government to prosecute cold cases using DNA. And through that grant, they were able to fund a position for someone to help out Sergeant Stiles in investigating these cold cases. And then it also has funds to test evidence for DNA.
Leatherman says there are nearly 300 cold cases, some dating back to the late 1960s.
We're going to start going through the cases and seeing if there is DNA that can be tested, especially stuff from 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. You know, DNA wasn't being tested really back then. So there's a chance that there's several of these that could have DNA, and hopefully with that we'll be able to solve several of them.
Genealogical testing can be very expensive, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. And that's why this grant is so important to the department and also to the families seeking justice. Monica Galchik lost her stepsister, Lisa Gaskin, to a brutal murder in March of 2000. There is DNA in her case, and she is thrilled this new grant could lead to a possible break in Lisa's case.
It's been 24 years, 24 whole years where there's not been any type of closure. It's just like an open wound to the family. It gives us hope. Maybe, just maybe.
Leatherman says another important factor in solving cold cases is the public.
The huge thing is getting the public's help, and people who are witnesses coming forward and basically just doing the right thing and helping us solve these cases. We're going to definitely give it our best shot and see how many of these we can solve.
Sharon Phillips, 2 News Oklahoma.
Because DNA wasn't really tested in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the department is hoping there is some chance that some of those cold cases have DNA that can now be tested.